The Grandmaster returns, and he puts a boot right up Pito's ass in my review of Hunter x Hunter, episode 111. This episode featured an element which is seen in a lot of different storytelling mediums like movies, and especially in anime and manga, and that is the grand tradition of the old wise master, or like the karate master. If you know what I mean, just think like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Genkai, Roshi, the third Hokage, freaking Genryusei Yamamoto, the list goes on. The guys with the Fu Manchu beards, and the guys who freaking rock the house. Master Splinter, motherfuckers. That's what I'm talking about. In this episode, I knew that Netero was going to appear from the preview, but I really didn't expect it was going to be this early. They sort of blindsided me, because at the beginning of the episode, I figured that Gon and his friends were just going to immediately storm the Chimera Ant King's palace, and shit was going to go down inside. But no, the beginning of the episode opens up with Pito noticing like something is coming from the sky, and we get to see that it is actually Netero, and he's actually joined by Zeno Zoldyck, who is the grandfather of Killua, so you know shit's really gonna get fun when he's around. But essentially they're riding on this like giant golden dragon, which explodes into these like light arrows, which just start flying towards the palace. And because of this, Pito has to start attacking, and then you have Poof, who starts freaking out and running towards the castle to try and warn the king, and this is all going on within the span of like a couple seconds. And while this happens, we see that Netero encounters Pito, and I love this scene because throughout the course of this entire arc, they've made Pito seem like she's like completely unstoppable, almost as much as the actual Ant King himself, and Netero just bitch slaps the crap out of her and sends her flying, but she's able to use her weird like Dr. Blythe ability to like stop herself, and she's able to get back into the fight. One of the most important parts of this episode is actually getting to see the background of Netero and his training and how he gained enlightenment, so to speak. And it does get sort of Disneyfied at the end when he has like all of the creatures of the forest resting on his shoulders. But still, the build-up is pretty cool, and it's, you know, it's very typical of anime and like classic martial arts films to show these sort of training segments. And essentially what he does is, for like a couple of years, he continues to pray and then punch. And he tries to do, I believe, like 10,000 punches a day, and it takes him a long time at first. And then eventually he gets to the point where he can do 10,000 punches in under an hour, and this gives him much more time for prayer. Thus, he gains enlightenment and becomes a complete and total badass. And then he's able to become the Grandmaster from this point. And it is a little stereotypical, but still, I enjoyed it. It was good to finally see a little more background on this character who's very mysterious, and they have been building him up a lot. The episode ends with a cliffhanger as Gon and his friends make their way into the Chimera Ant King's palace when they suddenly come face to face with Yuppie, who's sitting on the stairs, and that's how the episode ends. I really cannot wait to see who's going to be fighting against Yuppie. It's going to be really awesome. But still, this episode was all about frickin' that scene where Netero and Zeno were just flying out of the sky and they had that giant golden dragon. That was really cool. And you know what? There's one thing I need to bring up, and I'm going to not be as spoilerific as I can, but don't watch the preview for the next episode. It really spoiled something big for me because I don't read the manga series. So when I saw the preview for the next episode, I was really disappointed to see what's going to happen because it looks like it's going to be really crazy. And it looks like the animation looks like it's going to be very good next week too. But this one was good. The pacing could have been better. And one thing that I found very odd was this was a very like heavily narrated episode. I don't know why they felt the need in the first half to really explain like every little event. You know, they could have just said this took place a few seconds before Gon and his friends made there. But no, this narrator goes through everything, like what Pito's thinking when they're falling out of the sky and what Netero's doing. And then, of course, he does the entire flashback with him. It just made the episode seem a little slower than maybe it should have. But still, for the most part, it was great. There was a lot of really good animation and a lot of great expressions. Like, there was this one face that Pito made that was freaky as hell. And just getting to see Netero finally do something is awesome. There was also a scene where Zeno was sort of like talking about his relationship with him, how they're sort of like a yin and yang with each other. He makes it pretty obvious, though, that Netero is actually the stronger of the two. Again, they're just building him up even more. It's pretty obvious he's probably going to go toe-to-toe with the Chimera Ant King, which is going to be balls to the wall awesome. I can't wait to see that. And like I said, from the preview, it looks like things are going to get pretty damn intense. My only complaint with this episode is that maybe it was a little slow in some parts. Maybe it could have been sped up. Maybe a little less narration. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. But still an incredibly solid episode that is finally getting back into the action because we have had a ton of tense build-up to this big battle that is getting ready to take place. And since this happened, I'm sure things are going to go unexpectedly crazy. So check it out, guys. 8 out of 10. And before you guys leave, make sure and check out the review me and Christian worked on of the very first Naruto movie. You can check it out right up top, and I'll also put a link to it in the description box below. Now, if you guys did get a chance to check out this week's episode, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. You can tell me about your favorite moments, what you want to see from the future of the series, who's going to fight against Yuppie. You can let me know in your comments below. Remember, guys, before you leave, hit that like button, give this video a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. So, I'll see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.